everyone, it's James from FunFoods, and today is National Hot Dog Day, so I made a giant hot dog. Check out the size of this thing. It's massive, homemade. Keep watching and I'll show you step by step how to make this. First thing we need to do is prepare our casing for our hot dog. Now, what is the casing? It's pretty simple. For a typical hot dog, it's usually either made of sheep intestines or pig intestines. But since we're making a giant hot dog, I had to go bigger. Those weren't big enough for what I was looking for. So I found beef bung, which is a cow's intestines, basically. And it's bigger. It's supposed to be bigger anyway. More than 5 inches in diameter. So this is going to be a rather large hot dog. The first thing we need to do is prepare it. And the instructions say I need to soak it for 60 minutes in lukewarm water. So I'm going to do that. So I have a bowl here with lukewarm water in it. Whew, that does not smell good. Okay. Oh man, that smells so bad. But here we go. It's actually 2 of them, so I'm gonna put it in there. Oh God. I wish you can smell this. Oh. It's bad. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to eat this, but we're gonna do it. All right, so it's soaking. We're gonna let it sit there for an hour. So our beef bung is just about ready, and what I'm gonna do now is work on the filling to our hot dog. Now, I'm using both bacon, which is the pork side of it, and beef, but it's mostly gonna be beef. This is 2.5 pounds of beef that's typically used for beef stew. It's already chopped up. It was at the store that way, so that's why I grabbed it. It'll be something easy to do. I don't even have to chop it up. But the bacon I will chop up a little bit. We're gonna put it in a food processor and add some other ingredients and make our filling. So the first thing I'm gonna add is probably half of this beef into our food processor. It's already chopped up. If it's not chopped up, you should chop it up. And for our bacon, I'm just gonna chop this up. This is applewood smoked bacon. The smaller manageable pieces. Doesn't have to be perfect. And just put that bacon into your food processor, just like so. Now we're going to add a whole tablespoon of salt to this, and 1 teaspoon of sugar, tablespoon of vinegar, and 3 large eggs. Now we're going to grind this up until it's like a puree, but I also have some water here just to pour it in to help the consistency, to keep it as a puree. And I might need to start right away with it. We will see. Let's go ahead and just get to pureeing this. So it's working, we're getting there. The first couple little jolts of it is hard to handle, but once we get it down, it'll be good. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. Hopefully it'll help. A couple tablespoons there. Yeah, definitely helps. We want to scrape down the sides a bit and just make sure we get everything in there and everything is getting incorporated well. This is very appetizing looking. Not at all. All right, so I've been pureeing this for about 10 minutes and it looks pretty good. You could probably puree it longer than what I've done, and I've had it on high speed for about 10 minutes and my food processor is starting to smoke, so I have to take it easy a little bit. I think it's good enough. I think we've reached a point where it needs to be, but it could always be a little better, right? So now what I'm gonna do is just put this in another bowl just to hold it until I get our other half done. And my other half I'm not gonna fill as much up because I think that's what the problem was with my food processor. It was a little too much for it to handle. All right, so we're gonna put this into another bowl here and work on our other half. All right, so here is my bowl of puree. If you're just making hot dogs, the smaller ones, that would be fine, but we're making giant ones. Okay, so now we gotta stuff our beef bung, which after it's been in the water, this is kind of like what it looks like. This is one piece. I have 2 pieces total. I did fill it with water just to kind of see what it looks like a little bit. I'm excited and scared all at once. So let's drain the water out of there. And it has a natural end to it right here that I don't want to cut open. Most of the time you have 2 open ends if you're filling a hot dog, but this one already has one that's closed. And by the way, just so you'll know, soaking it in the water for an hour doesn't help the smell. It still smells pretty bad. I'm never eating hot dogs again. Now, typically you would use one of those meat grinder, extruder, whatever it's called, and it'll fill up this hot dog thing or this intestine. But we're not going to do that because 1, I don't have one. 2, even if I did, I wouldn't have one of those nozzles that are big enough to fill this. So what we're going to do is kind of start our open end and just kind of carefully bring it in like so with our hands, so we can get all the way down to the end. Gosh, I wish you guys can smell this. All right, kind of like you're putting socks on, okay? Okay, so we got to the end and we just want to fill this up. There's probably an easier way to do this. I don't know. So I'm just going to use a spoon and just kind of push some out in there. If I had a funnel that was wide enough, I could do that. I'm sorry if your favorite food used to be hot dogs before watching this video. I'm sorry. Let's see, I'm just gonna work this all the way down to the bottom. Just gotta make sure the air comes out. So you want the meat to go down, but the air to come back up. All right, so this is our hot dog. I know it doesn't look like one, but it is the best we can do for a giant hot dog anyway. I tied off this end, but I'm not really sure it'll hold because it was quite thick and it's hard to really tie. So I am going to keep it tied, but I'm also going to use some string and tie it too, just to make sure it holds. And we're going to tie that off. And just make sure all that air is out of there. Air is not a good thing to have in here. So I want to make sure all that air gets forced out. Hot dog. All right, so now that we have our giant hot dog, we have to actually cook it. Now, the first thing we gotta do is I'm gonna boil it first before we put it on a grill and cook it. So here it is. I have a big pot that is filled not even a halfway full, because when we put that big sucker in there, it's probably going to lift up that water. So all right, so there it is. Let's bring it over to the stove. So what I'm doing is slowly bringing the water temperature up until it becomes a boil. I don't want to start off with a boil because then it may pop. Well, that's it. That's my hot dog. It busted about an hour into the process here, and that's all I can do. I don't know. Let's see if I can salvage this. All right, so as you know, the casing popped off of it. It was an hour into the boiling process, or poaching, you should say. The internal temperature, I just checked it, it's 133 degrees, which is not cooked all the way, and we need this thing to cook. So what I'm doing right now is preheating my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna try to salvage this. Even though the casing came off, I think we can still manage. This is the casing. Oh, that's hot. It just popped, and everything popped out of it for the most part, but it popped out in the shape of the hot dog. So that's good news. If I can keep it intact, I'm gonna transfer it into a baking sheet that's lined with some foil and put it in the oven and see if that works. All right, so I got some gloves on. I'm gonna try to just get this all intact and move it onto this baking sheet. Wish me luck. Oh, let's try to do this. Not bad. Oops. That was easier than I thought. There we go. So it stayed in form pretty good, so that's good. We don't need the casing. Let's just cook this until the internal temperature reaches a safe degrees, and then our hot dog is done. All right, so my internal temperature of my hot dog now has reached 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a safe temperature. Now we have to put it in an ice bath to stop it from cooking. I'm gonna try not to burn myself and do this. We'll see. Whew. I'll just dump the whole thing in there and then, there we go. That'll work. Now my original plan was to actually fry this on the grill, but I'm afraid with the casing not on there that it might fall apart and fall into the grill. So I think plan B is that we're going to fry it over the stove. The next step is we need to find a hot dog roll that's big enough. Now, I couldn't find a hot dog roll, of course, but Walmart did have Italian bread that looks a lot like a hot dog roll. So I cut it in half, open it up, and one of the things we gotta do is I like my buns toasted. And do you like your buns toasted or not? Let me know in the comments down below. One of the things you can do to toast the buns, you can of course put butter on there, but if you really want that really good toasted bun, use mayonnaise. So just take some mayonnaise and spread it on there. By the way, you will not taste mayonnaise, not at all. Take this and put this upside down on the pan. So my pan is heating up. I'm just gonna take our bun. I may have to do half at a time. There we go, that's our bun. Now take our hot dog. After a minute or so on one side, kind of roll it over. See if we can do a quarter turn here. All right, it's done. All right, the time has come. We're gonna put our hot dog on our bun. How am I gonna do it? I don't know. Oh, here we go. Look at that. That's a good fit right there. Massive hot dog. Now all we gotta do is dress it up with your favorite toppings. Mustard, anyone? We'll start off with some mustard. And now for the taste test. Very beefy. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this giant hot dog. It is a lot of fun making this. And my friend Colin from Colin Creates also made a giant hot dog, his version of one anyway. I think mine's better, but you can go check it out for yourself because I'll put a link in the description below. And go ahead and check out this video right here and then check out Colin's video, and I will see you guys later. You know, let's start over. And I will see you guys, no.